godišnje ponovljenje svečanosti, koje smo spremni da svetkujemo.
The annual occurrence of the feast that we are going to celebrate while reviving in us devout memories reminds us of the splendid deeds of our ancestors who, under the patronage of the wonder worker whose holy relics Kotor now honors, won lasting merit for the faith and homeland, bequeathing to us, their fortunate descendants, a glorious heritage.
Potomcima ostaviše nasljedstvo slavno. Dakle, građani, nek se I ove godine proslavi.
So, citizens, let this feast so dear to us be celebrated this year too with traditional splendor and customary rites, and let the same saint for whose sake it is being celebrated be an incentive to us all. In doing so, first of all, let us give glory to God and pay reverence and homage to the glorious Virgin Mary and to Jesus, his outstanding martyr, Saint Trippon. O great God, let this glorious banner fly for as many centuries to come as have passed until now, always in harmony, happiness, and love.
Sada minulo trenutaka razvija svake godine proslavljeni ovaj stijeg, a uvijek u slozi, sreći I ljubavi. Slava!
Glory, glory, glory.
The rugged rocks of Herzegovina and Montenegro mountain peaks command a magnificent view of a rarely seen beauty. Boka, a bay of saints and of captains. The inhabitants of this paradise-like bay have had their ups and downs. Life has not spoiled these brave people who engaged in many a battle, both on land and sea, against various oppressors, who, although many, never managed to break the audacious spirit of the Boka people. The geographical position and the size of the bay, which sheltered even large fleets, was an attraction to many rulers who left traces of their presence here. Father Branko Sputega comes from an ancient family that for generations has bred renowned captains and ship owners. Relying on a rich family environment, Father Branko experiences Boka as a specific religious and cultural environment.
Roditi su Boki znači roditi su u prostoru gdje su se preplijetaju.
To be born in Boka means to be born in a place where many strata of Mediterranean culture intertwined and are still intertwining. What does it mean? It means that throughout history, the influence of various cultures has been continuously reaching Boka, from those of antiquity, Illyrian, Roman, to the Slavic ones. At a religious level, various denominations of Eastern and Western Christianity have been permanently meeting, clashing, or reconciling here. Also, the Islamic element touched this history with a rather strong influence. Therefore, it is an oasis, in a way, where a keen and insightful eye can read the destiny of this whole part of the Mediterranean, looking not only at its landscape, but also at its culture.
In the most beautiful bay in the Adriatic lies the ancient town of Kotor. It dates back to Roman times. It was referred to for the first time in the 7th century as a part of the Byzantine Dalmatia. High walls dominated by St. John's Church distinguish it. The walls used to defend the town against the Turkish army from land and against Turkish and Arab pirates from sea. Christianity in Boka is older than the oldest written records. In early Christian times, Kotor had already become a diocesan seat. This fact is corroborated by a partly preserved list of bishops from the 9th century. Today, the church is present in the life of Boca, although not in the measure in which it used to be historically. The strong Christian spirit of this region stems partly from a large number of saints who were born here or whose relics believers brought here. One of the most honoured Boca saints is certainly St. Trippon, the patron of Kotor. Trippon, to whom the Cathedral of Kotor is consecrated, was born at Samsada, a small town near Apamea in Phrygia, in the first half of the 3rd century. As a youth of 18, he died a martyr's death during the persecutions under Emperor Decius. Many miraculous powers are attributed to him. In 809, the Kotor nobleman, Andreas Saracinus, bought his relics from a Venetian ship that had put in at the Kotor port, and in his honour built a church in the centre of the town. There are very few written records about the arrival of St. Trippon's relics in Kotor. In his investigations, an admiral of the Boca Navy with a good knowledge of Boca's history came across a number of legends related to the arrival of St. Trippon in Kotor.
Some things are at first sight absolutely extraordinary to our modern understanding, but were quite acceptable during the Middle Ages. For example, a merchant arrives here, a local asks him how much for the relics, pays, and takes them. Now they start carrying St. Trippon and bring him to the town. All of a sudden, they cannot go any further, for he becomes terribly heavy. They have to lay him down on the ground, and then they realize it is the saint's wish to have his church built just here, on this spot, and that is how it was. This is, say, an element of legend or something. One of the captains made fun of the whole thing. It was struck stock still. Then they prayed to God to release him from this strange natural misfortune, and it worked. He was once again normal.
Nesreće koja mu se desila I desilo se I on se opet povratio u normalu.
The first church that Andreas Saracinus built for St. Trippon was destroyed by fire in the 10th century. All that remained was the stone sarcophagus in which the builder was buried. The citizens of Kotor then decided to build a new church for their patron saint. The new three-nave church built in the 12th century was consecrated by the Bishop of Kotor Malon on the 19th of June 1166 during the pontificate of Pope Alexander III. St. Trippon's Cathedral, according to historic sources, is the oldest cathedral on the eastern side of the Adriatic. The monumental building soon became the centre of development in medieval Kotor. Special attention is paid to the main altar, the ciborium. This masterpiece of Romanesque and Gothic art was consecrated in 1362 by the Bishop of Kotor, Dujan. A silver-gilt palla on which saints are presented in relief stands at the altar as an ornament. This is the only preserved specimen of an altar silver-gilt palla on the eastern Adriatic coast. Partly preserved frescoes on the walls, works of Greek painters who lived and worked in Kotor in the 14th century, also speak of the stormy and artistically diverse history of the cathedral.